Hey guys, it's Lewis here. Today I'm showing you how to stretch a motovox. So this is a simple tab relocate. You can either do the tab relocate from the bottom. So for example, you chop the tabs from the bottom, relocate them to the rear, or you can get some 3/16 steel and cut out your tabs with a plasma cutter or a grinder. But it's a lot easier if you have somebody with a plasma cutter because it's hard to make a circle shape with a grinder unless you do a triangle and then you go with a grinding disc and you kind of shape it to a circle, right? I've done that before. It's time consuming, but it works. What I'm doing here is I'm just relocating the rear tabs. This is the easiest way to do it. Basically, you chop them from the front. So my recommendation is try to get as close to the frame as possible so you have as much material on your tab as possible, right? Or you can just make new tabs. But I'm gonna relocate to the rear, and notice how you have a lot of gap. You don't want this gap. I'm gonna put first I'm gonna chop the other one off, put them together, put an axle through them, and I'm gonna clamp them down with a vice grip, right? That way they're both even. And I'm gonna take my grinding disc and I'm gonna make a slight circle in the middle, right? Like a curve that matches the curvature of the frame. That way it kind of sits like that. That makes sense. Instead of like this with all this gap, when I make the circle in the middle right here, it'll kind of close it in and you don't have as much gap. Now you're still gonna have a little bit of gap, but this is the downside to using the stock tabs. Gonna chop this tab right here for the brakes. Make another tab for the hydros, and that's really about it. That's the same thing I did on my blue one, so let me show you. It was easier on this blue one because the tires are a lot taller, and I put the tabs up here, which is on a straight rail instead of the curvature right here, right? If you have a taller tire, you can get away with it, but with the shorter tire, since I was gonna put these pocket bike wheels on it, but the adapter won't fit, so I'm just gonna run the stock rim. If I were to use a stock rim and put the tab up here, the bike is gonna be too low, so my best option is back here. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get everything cut, and I'm gonna update you guys. Alright, so here's a tip. When you go to cut your tab off, don't just randomly put it there, right? Notice how I try to align my disc as close to the frame as possible, so just like that. See, you want to get it started right here, then when you make your start, you can carry it all the way to the back. Don't start up here or something like this. Start back here. Try to get the disc, side of the disc as close as you can to the frame, and then go. Okay, so you want to go kind of over the weld. You can go under the weld, but if you go over it, you're just gonna have that little much more space. Okay, the more space you can get on the tab, the better. You don't want to cut through the frame though. Okay, if you do, you're gonna have to fill that back up. So that's just a little tip. Alright, notice how close I got to the frame. That's what you want to do. Now, if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. Better to be safe than sorry. Next, I'm gonna chop off the tabs. I'm gonna smooth all this out. Do the same with the forks. Might have to chop this off too, because when you do the tab relocate, this gets in the way. So I might chop this whole thing off and it's just clean everything up, sand it smooth. First you chop them off. Second you use a Alright, notice how close I got to the frame. That's what you want. Now if you don't feel comfortable doing that, don't do it. It's better to be safe than sorry. Just remove all the tabs right here, grind everything smooth first. Take a grinding wheel to it, then use a flap disc. Don't use a flap disc automatically because you're just wasting your time. So grind it with a grinding wheel, and then flap disc after that. I'm removing this, tabs up here for the fender, same on the forks. So yeah. Alright, here's a little bit of grinding. This is what I meant by grind the middle. See, so it's like it wraps around the back. That's what I meant. I'm gonna do a little bit more, and you're not gonna get all the way because you're still gonna have a little bit of gap. That gap I'm gonna fill with weld. Alright, so shouldn't be too big of a deal. You just don't want it flat. You don't want the thing like that. You know what I'm saying? So make the little notch, get it close as you can. Remember, have them together so they're both perfectly aligned. You don't want to do one at the same time. Like, you want to do both together. So I'll keep you updated. Alright, got the tabs all done. There we go. That's with a Harbor Freight welder. It's a 90 amp Harbor Freight welder. If I can do it with a 90 amp, you can do it with about any motherfucking welder. So don't be scared, go out there and do it. It's nothing hard, just make sure you get a level, make sure it's straight, because you don't want that wheel fucking up, man. You don't want that wheel icky. No, but super simple, like I said. Just if you're scared, ask somebody local to help you. Take it to your welder fabricator, learn from them. My suggestion is do it yourself. I did it myself, and now it's a piece of cake. It's probably my 5th or 6th motovox stretch. Alright, if you got questions, leave them in the comments like always. See you guys.